Wow.
Late night TV.
Late night TV.
Wow. Okay. This is looking and smelling amazing. So it is. So we're just finishing up with we're just finishing up with the raspberries, but what we've actually now got coming along much more in the hedgerows are the brambles. So we're going to do a little bit of chat about that.
So the brambles, they're quite early this year, and it looks like we're going to have an excellent season due to all the heat that we had early on, even though we had all of that horrible winter. We had lots of flowers, there wasn't much wind, so the flowers stayed on. We've then had the heat, and now we've had a bit of rain. So all of our brambles now, these are the first ones that we've been picking. They're lovely, lovely, and huge and very juicy. So they are excellent for using at the moment. These were grown on a south-facing side, and they seem to be the ones that come along earlier and first. And luckily, we've also got a whole host of apples coming at the moment as well.
Yeah.
So we thought rather than making another jam or doing a crumble, we'd show you something really easy that you can do at home if you've got a huge glut or if you've got a box full from going on a walk with the dog at the weekend. And what we're going to make is a quick bramble and apple gin, which you can leave in the back of your cupboard to infuse for about 3 months. So if you do it around about now, it would be perfect for Christmas.
It's a great idea for Christmas presents.
Yeah, it's fantastic idea.
If you can bear to part with it.
Yes, you might want to do some for Christmas and then keep some aside for yourself. Don't give it all away. So that jam is still just coming to a rolling boil, so we'll just leave that as it is. If you can keep an eye on that.
No problem.
So
I switch round.
Yeah, let's swap.
I think we're getting tied in a knot here, but hey ho. Right,
it'll be fun to untangle that later. So what you need is a big Kilner jar. So this is just over 1 litre, this Kilner jar. And for that size Kilner jar, you need 225 grams of brambles, 225 grams of sugar, and 220 grams of cooking apple.
I get the chopping board.
This one's slightly over 225, but we have to chop it. You don't need to peel it. So thank you.
Okay, no problem.
I feel like it's the other way around. Normally it's assisting you.
It's delightful. And I'll give you a small knife if you want for the corn.
Yeah, that would be grand. So as I said, we've just picked these yesterday from the orchard. We've got a huge bounty of apples. At Colston's, a whole variety of apple trees. I still quite haven't worked out which ones are which yet. So we just want to take the core out of the middle there. Make sure you've got it all out. And then just slice it up, like so. And then we'll just
chop it up a bit more.
Chop it up a little bit more. You want quite big chunks because you're going to leave this for a minimum of 3 months. You can leave it longer if you like, but I've found with the softer fruits, it's better not to leave them as long as you would do if you were making sloe gin, because sloes are quite tough. So you want to have, you need to prick their skins and leave them for at least a year before you drink them.
Yes. Oh, thank you very much. Okay. Okay, that's done. No. Okay, blimey. Oh, it is.
So it's a really easy assembly job. So even if you don't feel like making jam, this is a really good way of using up fruit, as I say, that you find
even faster
out and about. It's even faster than jam, apart from the leaving it in the cupboard.
Oh yeah. Is there anything I should be getting done? Read the jam now because it's starting. You can see to get thicker. The bubbling is changing. So what we want to start doing is we want to start testing for a set.
Okay, well I get the little saucers.
So we have little saucers in a fridge, which are just down in here.
Alex says that for the Australians watching, it's probably #gin time.
It is at the minute #gin time, that's for sure. So if you add your apples and your brambles, I tend to do this in sort of layers, but you're going to shake it up in a little bit, not to steal Taylor Swift's song, but yeah.
Okay.
So you add your fruit like that, all in, no core, and then the rest of the brambles. And then you add your sugar on the top. Oops, she said spilling it everywhere.
So just re the testing of the jam. I've taken it off the heat while I'm testing it, because if you keep it on the heat, obviously it's going to continue cooking. You can still see it's still bubbling. That's because there's such a heavy base on the pan retaining the heat. So I've just put a little spoonful onto a cold saucer, and I'm going to leave it for a minute or so to check, and for this is the wrinkle test. You can be more scientific and use a thermometer, in which case it needs to get to 105 degrees centigrade. But we're just thinking of the easy, straightforward, what you would have to hand. So we'll just have a look on that.
There we
It's
go.
looking very, very appetizing.
Yes, well,
Yes.
So the gin I like to use is Greenall's gin. It's a really good London Dry, classic London Dry gin. You don't want to be using a really premier gin because they have a lot of complex flavours which will be masked by the amount of sugar. So it's available in a lot of supermarkets, big supermarkets and local off-licences. And it's also the oldest distillery in England.
Oh.
So I think they know what they're doing about their gin.
Right.
So I was just going to pour it in now.
Okay.
So it's most like me at home when I'm making gin. So if you put in 600 millilitres and then of gin, just a small gin and tonic.
A lot, right? Okay.
Yeah. But remember, this can be used as liqueur. I don't like port, so when we have a cheese board at Christmas time in particular, this is what I like to have with my cheese board instead. So if you've got people who don't like fortified wines, this is quite a good one. You can also use it for cocktails, which I'm a big fan of. You can use it instead of creme de mure for making a bramble. You can just add it straight with tonic.
Yep.
You can pop
Nice sort of wintry drink.
Exactly.
The depth of colours and the warmth.
Exactly. So
Brilliant.
make sure you secure your jar nice and tightly like that. And then what you need to do is you give it a little shake. So turn it upside down. This is your Tom Cruise moment at home in cocktail.
Okay.
So you give it a good shake and then leave it. And then every time you pass the cupboard on a daily basis, put it somewhere where you're going to pass every day. You give it a little shake every day, and that will just help get the sugar all dissolved with the fruit, and also helps break up the brambles and release the flavours from there as well. So I would suggest leaving this for up to 3 months minimum, or up to a year. I usually leave mine between 3 and 6, and I tend to have a few batches, so I leave some a bit later, because I know if I make it in and bottle it up, it's going to get drunk very quickly. So, so that's you.
Excellent.